Hey there, fight fans. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this episode of Combat Sports Talk. Welcome to Combat Sports Talk, a podcast dedicated to UFC and Bellator discussion, the MMA community, and combat sports in general. I'm your host, Ryan Smith, and joining me this week is the man with the keys to victory, John Keys, and Coach to the Stars, George G-Money Stallworth. What's up, guys?
Oh, he's repping the shirt. Let's talk about the shirt.
Show it off. Dark Side Muay Thai. Let's see it.
Hot off the presses, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll give you full screen.
Thai. Boom.
Look at that.
There we go.
Snap.
There it is. Look at that.
Flip it back around. Even on the sleeve. Look, y'all remember in Friday when Ice Cube's father was like, hey, check out the inside. Check out the inside.
Oh, look at that.
Ho. But you got to coordinate. So it's Dark Side Muay Thai. But why not have it inside on the shirt?
Very nice.
Got to coordinate, fellas.
Very nice. Very nice.
We're lacking. Yeah, we're lacking in our game.
That's right. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to get it to us so we can rep it on the show. That way we can all be in black and red of the Dark Side Muay Thai. That's awesome. You know, maybe what we can do also add it to our merchandise link on the website.
Let's do it. Hey, speaking of, you see your boy over there wearing my Darth Vader shirt. Look, repping Dark Side all around.
Look at that. Right. There you go.
Today I'm repping the many expressions of Vader. You know, he's happy. He's sad. He's angry. He has it all.
There it is. I took the lower third off so people could see. There it is. The expressions of Vader. There you go.
Oh man, did you know that the same guy that made Chuck E. Cheese? You know Chuck E. Cheese. You know, you go there, you get drunk, you play with the rat, you get into a fight with your family. Mm-hmm. You know that Chuck E. Cheese. The same guy that founded Chuck E. Cheese also founded Atari.
No, didn't know that.
No, didn't know that.
Nolan Bushnell in 1972 started Atari, gave us Pong. He is the genesis of all the video gaming that is happening now. Wow. He also gave us Chuck E. Cheese. I do not understand how is it that you went from you're a gaming god and you make horrible pizza. Okay, it's the worst pizza on the planet.
Because it wasn't about the pizza. It was about the fact that everybody came to Chuck E. Cheese to play in the arcade.
Yes.
To play in the arcade. Man, I don't know what Chuck E. Cheese you went to, but when I was a kid, it was the only time I got to go to the arcade. And so it makes sense that the guy who basically invented video games would have a place where people could go to play video games.
Yes. Well, nowadays when they didn't start fighting really until they started serving alcohol. Totally different story. Not one for us tonight.
Man.
But did you know? All right, so I'm trying to play with your brains today, okay? Have you ever heard of unconscious selective attention?
No.
Okay. Do you know that you can not see your nose? You can always see your nose, no matter what. Okay? You can try not to see your nose. You can close one eye, close the other. You will always see your nose if your eyes work.
Look, he's got me on the show right now looking at my nose. And I'm sure I probably look cross-eyed in the camera.
Yes, it's called unconscious selection attention. So this started, okay, you know, in order to, you know, to do certain things in life, it needs to block out distractions through a process called unconscious selective attention. The nose is one of those distractions. This is a landmark study back in the 60s. Ulrich Neisser discovered this phenomenon after he asked participants to count the number of times basketball players passed the ball in the video. What the majority failed to see in the video was a girl walking in the middle of the court with an umbrella and very little else because they were so focused on counting.
Yeah. I've seen other studies of that where now that you've described the study that proved the unconscious blah 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 selective attention,
also known as USA, we'll call it that.
Oh, USA, that kind of makes sense in a way, but I've seen other examples of people exploiting that. There's actually a real interesting game on Nintendo Switch where you play a mini game on Mario Party. I think that's what it's called. You play Mario Party, and it's one of those USA type of tests where you're watching certain things and then ask you a question about something else that passed through, and then you're like, oh no, I don't know the answer to that. So very cool. Yes. All right. Well, we are warmed up and ready to go. UFC 256, Figueiredo versus Moreno. This card, they could just shut it down. It's the last pay-per-view of the year for the UFC, but they don't even need to have the fights this weekend. We saw all we needed to see as fight fans this past Saturday night. We're going to talk about it. This is called The Official Decision. This is The Official Decision. This is where we look at the fights from Saturday night. UFC 256 Figueiredo versus Moreno, Saturday, December 12th, 2020 in the UFC Apex Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, there were 5 or 6 fights on the card, but we're going to talk about more than that because there were just crazy action all throughout this freaking card. I'm just saying, like, I don't get as hyped as I am right now for most of the cards that we see. I get excited about maybe a fight. I get excited maybe about a result of a fight, but this one, the entire card, top to bottom, great fights. So let's talk about it. The first one that I was watching, now I don't know if you saw one before me, like before that, but Rafael Fiziev versus Renato Moicano. Fiziev defeated Moicano via knockout at 4:05 in round number 1. This fight was back and forth. Moicano was coming in, throwing bombs, and then all of a sudden, it was almost like Rocky IV, where you remember when the Russian coach would slam his hand on the thing, and that's when Drago would just start throwing punches?
Yes.
That's what Fiziev did, man. Fiziev was just like, he's sitting there boxing with him, and then it was like he turned a switch on, and then he caught Moicano with like a two-piece. It was some kind of combo, and Moicano goes down. They stopped the fight. Moicano's like, "Why'd you stop the fight? I was trying to go into full guard." And they're like, "Dude, when we called the fight off and you stood up, you fell over. You were out, my man."
He was done. He was done.
Dude.
Yeah, it was brutal. I have to say that was just one. If that was the precursor for what the night was supposed to unfold. And brutal. What I missed? Did I miss something?
You missed me taking a drink of Coke on air without a straw and George pointing at me. That's what it was.
That's like when you hit somebody and you caught them with their hands down. You're like, that's that Cody Bruckner right? Oh, that's that Nate Diaz. Like, point at him. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I got
yeah. I knew it as soon as I picked it up and took a sip. I was like, oh no, I don't have a straw. And I saw George, he points at me. I'm like,
oh my god. Yeah. It was a precursor for what was to unfold for the rest of the night. That it was just he was done. I mean, the guy tried to get up and he just stumbled back even further. And it was over.
Yeah,
it was over.
But this would not be the first fight this would not be the only fight of the night that would have a fighter complaining about the outcome. We're gonna get to it.
Stumbling over.
That's right. We're gonna definitely get back to that one. So the next fight of the night, Daniel Pineda versus Pineda. Sorry, Daniel Pineda versus Cub Swanson. This was the return of Cub Swanson. We hadn't heard from Cub Swanson in a very, very long time. Dude's coming back, fighting Daniel Pineda, and Pineda is a big dude coming down from Houston, Texas. Like, that's our backyard. And so he came out with a lot of fire for Cub Swanson, talking a lot of smack, really saying how he did not respect Cub Swanson's power. And so dude fought the fight with his hands down. Like, he was fighting with his hands down, and Cub Swanson started touching him, and it's like, okay, he realizes now that Cub Swanson can touch him. Cub Swanson still got that knockout power. Nope. Guy kept his hands down. You know, I try to remind people, 153 episodes in, keep your hands up and your chin tucked, right? No, not this guy. This guy stuck his chin out, hands down, and he got clipped. He got knocked out, and Cub Swanson made a beautiful return at UFC 252.
Yeah, he did. That's how you fight. Okay, if it was like as if, you know, Dana whispered in his ear, "Fight like your job mean it." Okay, and he came out there and
he didn't whisper.
You know,
he said, "60, y'all."
Yeah, he went out there and put all sorts of stank and pain on this dude. I mean, don't get me wrong. Pineda was fighting with him, but yeah. I mean, it was rock'em sock'em all the way.
Yeah, and what was funny is that once Pineda got rocked, then he wasn't thinking clearly about like how to defend himself, because then he was just walking around and just catching shots to the face, and it's like, dude, you need to do something different than what you're doing right now. And nope, he didn't have time to recover. Cub Swanson finished him off. Now, what was a really poignant moment in this fight was the fact that Cub Swanson, when they were talking to him about his return, like, what have you been thinking about? And he goes, I'm just thinking about that, to my kids, I'm a superhero. And he started getting emotional. And when you see a fighter just have this huge achievement, potentially saved his job at the UFC, to see them get emotional, your heart just melts for a fighter like that. You know what I'm saying? So, it was great.
Cub is always emotional, though. I mean, and I'm not taking it away from him. That's probably his fire, and I'm good with that. Okay, I'm good when a fighter, puts his heart on his sleeves and goes out there and gets it done. That shows true heart to me. That just shows that your passion is overflowing. Cub, if that's what it takes for you to keep knocking fools out left and right and getting the W, keep doing that, man. Don't stop.
All right. That's right. In the next fight of the night was a heavyweight fight. Junior Cigano dos Santos lost to Cyril Gane. Gane defeated Junior dos Santos via TKO, big old elbow to the head at 2:34 in round number 2. Really, this fight wasn't even close in round number 1. You could see the difference between Gane, who was just massive power guy throwing kicks. Junior dos Santos really didn't have an answer for him. Things got out of hand once Gane realized that he wasn't going to that he wasn't really in any danger from Junior dos Santos. I mean, Santos was too slow. Santos was needed to be in boxing range, but he was in kickboxing range, so he couldn't land any punches. And so once Gane got comfortable, then it was like, didn't take long to start piecing up Junior dos Santos. Eventually rocked him. Junior dos Santos, as he was turning away from Gane, Gane was throwing an elbow, landed an elbow probably in the back of his head, but you can't really. What are you going to do when the elbow has been thrown and the guy at the last minute turns his head? Like, what do you do?
Right. There's nothing you can do about that. I mean, I was looking at the fight. He did hit him in the back of the head. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. He hit him in the back of the head, but Junior was turning. So it's really not. I mean, it's unfortunate it did happen, but he was already full steam. And let's put it out there: Gane was throwing strikes like as if there was a booster on his on his elbow, and there was a booster on the back of his cap. I mean,
Yep.
he was launching.
It was like
kicks at him.
It was like Transor Z, man. Rocket punch. Boom.
Whoa. What do you know about that? Okay. What do you know about
Transor Z? That's right.
About Transor Z? Huh?
I watched Transor Z. I know about rocket punches.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to say aliens, but aliens.
Oh my god!
It was the wrong drop. Either one works for me this time.
Anyway, so let's talk about that fight strategy that Junior Dos Santos didn't have. Okay, If there was ever a chance, if there was ever the statement that, oh, we're a wrestler now, should have came to fruition, it was right there when Junior Dos Santos. He should have, Junior, the advantage that you had against Gani was that he was a master striker and you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You should have went in there and got him on the ground and beat him from there, because is it pride? Is it pride that keeps you standing up? That's what I want to know.
No, I think it's the quintessential I am now a striker, and knocking folks out is easier than submitting folks. And that's, it was Roy Nelson who said it. He's like, yeah, I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but it's much easier to knock a guy out in the first round than it is to get myself tired trying to submit him. And that's the thing. That is the but that's the thing. He's huge, but at the same time, if you can get him down on the ground, it's hard to knock somebody out from your back. Oh wait, in the next fight of the night, Kevin Holland.
Wow.
I like that.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Kevin Holland.
Kevin Trailblazer blazed to the top. Hometown hero Holland knocked out Jacare Souza from his back in the first round.
On the Matrix side of the game. Yes, he did that.
It was unbelievable because, the thing is, hold on, because, I have to do this. I have to do this. And so here it is, because I have to do this. I'm trying to find it on there it is.
Well, we know, we knew what you were going for.
I got to eat the crow. I'm eating crow right now because even though on last week's show I said, hey, Kevin Holland is a hometown hero. Kevin Holland is the guy that we are all on the hype train for.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see him going down to the ground with Jacare Souza. And Jacare got him on the ground within minutes of the first round. And it was like, oh, here we go. But apparently that black belt from Travis Lutter, it's worth something.
Oh, it's worth a lot of something.
It's worth something. It's worth a lot of something.
Yeah, he blasted him. And the thing was, he had distance to blast him with, and he blasted him, and he bent Jacare backwards, and then he got up and hit him again. All right, to make sure he was out. But see, people are saying that the punch that he got stunned on was the punch that did him in. No, there was a punch before that where when he started to throw the block up. That's when he was really messed up.
Absolutely.
And that punch. Now they're talking about Nico Price was the person that did it. There was another person that's done that before, and it was Andre Arlovsky. Okay, that it was a position where he was on the ground, and I want to say it was Tim Sylvia that he was fighting, but they were on the ground, and the referee, in some odd move, he stopped them for a second and made them reposition themselves. And, Arlovsky was looking at him like, are you sure you want to do this?
Right.
And, the ref got him, and then he told him to start the match, and Arlovsky just dotted Tim Sylvia's eye and put him out. and just like that. And he had less distance. He had maybe the distance from your chest to your knee to knock him out and put him out in one hit. It was sick.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean,
but that's what Kevin Holland did, and so it was just unbelievable how he took this fight and went to the ground, was able to scramble and change positions on Jacare. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, when we start talking about the royalty on the mat, this is someone like Jacare. We were talking about the striking differences, but the ground was going to be his, and Kevin Holland took that away from him and knocked him out, and then walked off and was like, "Where's Khamzat Chimaev?"
Yeah.
Hey,
why?
Gator got done in. I don't know if y'all remember that. Gator, what happened to your daddy's TV? I smoked. That's what happened that night with Jacare, man.
Yeah, he got. Oh man, let me see who did he get? Oh man, he got his black belt. Well, no, he didn't. We don't know who he got Brazilian black belt. We know where he got his black belt. Judo, Jacare. They don't say who he got Brazilian because he's royalty. I mean, literally, there's the Gracies, and Jacare's name is right up in there with them. And it's just like he's known for putting people on the ground and just twisting them up and making them say, "I quit."
Yeah.
And he got knocked out.
What was Jacare rank?
So Jacare. No, I don't believe so. I don't remember seeing a number by Jacare's name. So remember, Jacare has been gone for a little while. He was supposed to come back earlier this year, but then remember he got COVID and things like that. So I don't remember seeing a number by his name, but still, he's one of those fighters where his legacy precedes him, or you just know that if a fight goes to the ground, it's Jacare's. It's the same thing like of course I forget the name. El Cavallo. Fabricio Verdum.
Yeah.
Fabricio Verdum. The fight goes to the ground, it's going to be Fabricio. The fight goes to the ground with Damian Maia, it's going to be Damian Maia. You know, this is what you expect from Jacare Souza, and Kevin Holland just completely neutralized him, took him out of his game. Unbelievable.
Kevin was like, hold my beer, Ryan.
Yes. All right. So I mean, I'm already on the Kevin Holland hype train, but I am going to go ahead and take the golden ticket to say I am never picking against Kevin Holland again. Like, it is not happening again.
Wow.
I'm a believer.
Speaking of Kevin, I saw his former coach Derwin Lamb past weekend. Yeah, he was doing a seminar on Friday night. I went and checked out his seminar, man.
Awesome. How would that go?
Well. Yeah. It was great times, man. Enjoyed talking to Coach D. Shouts out to Coach D. We should have him on the show again here soon.
That would be awesome. We'll have to get that together.
Indeed.
In the next fight of the night was Mackenzie Dern versus Virna Jandiroba, and this was really a battle of two world champion Brazilian jiu-jitsu artists. And so you know that when you get two world champion Brazilian jiu-jitsu artists in the ring at the same time, you're going to get a striking competition. Yeah, that's what that happened. Fight didn't go to the ground, but like once, and it was at the very end of the fight. They sat there and just threw bombs at each other. So here's the thing, and Coach, I want to ask you a very important question as I get to it. Now, John, you know what I'm getting ready to ask him, but we're gonna set this up. So Mackenzie Dern is winning on the strikes. First round, I think it's pretty clear that Mackenzie Dern is winning. Second round, Mackenzie Dern is doing extremely well, but then Virna Jandiroba comes up, catches her across the bridge of the nose. Boom! I think it was either a knee or an elbow.
I think it was a knee. It was a knee.
Yeah, I think it was a knee. And so you see Mackenzie Dern do this.
Broke their nose.
And so she sits there and she comes back at the end of the round, sitting down, in her corner, and she says, and this is my question for you, Coach. She says to her coach, she goes, "Coach, is my nose broken?" What do you say, George? What do you say to your fighter? You're in the second round, going into the third.
No, nothing wrong with your nose. That nose looks perfect.
And that's exactly what he said. He's like, "Oh, don't worry about your nose. Your nose is fine." Okay. I was like, "What?" I was like, "You literally cocked your nose like it was a gun." Okay, he literally did this, and I was like, "Your nose is broken." And he was like, "Oh no, your nose is fine. Look, just keep doing this."
Just
like,
a scratch.
UFC got that covered. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. So, because of that big cut, she had to come out and win that fight in the third round. And she did. I think it's fair to say that Mackenzie Dern did what she needed to do to win that fight in the third round. Here's the funny thing. She gets out after the fight. They're doing the post-fight interview, and they ask her about her nose. Like, do you what do you remember about your nose? When it happened, what were you thinking? And she goes, "Yeah, I asked my coach if it was broken. He said it was fine." She goes, "But I knew he was lying. I knew it was broken. So I just had to go in there." She said the way he was like, "No, there's nothing wrong with your nose." She's like, "I knew he was lying."
Like, really, man? You don't think this is wrong?
She's like, "I grabbed it. I felt it. It moved."
Yeah, because I thought my TV was glitching for a second. I was like, did she really pull it down like that? I mean, she pulled it down pretty like almost to her lip from the looks of it, and put it back. And I was like, that's not right.
No, nose ain't supposed to do that.
Yeah, that's not good. But hey, if the coach said it ain't nothing wrong with it, ain't nothing wrong with it.
She went back out there and fought her heart out, man. And so, shout out to Mackenzie Dern for fighting through, clear injury. Which brings me to the co-main event. Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira defeated Tony Ferguson via unanimous decision. There was even a 10-8 round in this. My friends, you know that I've been ride or die for El Cucuy for almost as long as we've been doing this show. I do not pick against Tony Ferguson, and so it broke my heart to watch him get manhandled the way he got manhandled in this fight. It was not even close. He did not have a chance. He had very little to no offense. And in the second round, I think it was the second round, maybe even it was the first round. I think it was first. I don't remember which round it was, but first round, Charles Oliveira catches Tony Ferguson in an arm bar. And I've only seen this happen. I've only seen this happen like once or twice. I saw it happen. George St. Pierre with Dan Hardy. That arm bar was in deep and he didn't tap. I saw it again with I think Ronda Rousey had Miesha Tate in an arm bar, and she didn't want to tap. It went, when your arm goes to 270, almost like it goes past 180, and you're now going to 270. That's when tremendous amounts of damage can happen, and the ref can't stop that. Even though it's clear that damage is going on, Tony Ferguson was not tapping, and it was just going worse and worse and worse. I couldn't watch it. Daniel Cormier was like, I can't. I turned away. Personally, for me, I was turning away too. I can't watch that. And Charles Oliveira did everything he could to get that fight ended, and Tony Ferguson never tapped.
Yeah, and while you guys were turning away, I was leaning in like, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? And
you over there like, snap it.
Take it home. Take it home with you. Okay, but it was a sick one. I mean, and the whole fight was sick. I mean, I mean, I wouldn't get off the Tony hype train just
Well, I
yet.
can't get off. I gotta wait till he retires. I can't get off that train.
For the simple fact that you gotta understand. First of all, this is a short notice fight. Okay, it was a short notice fight. I think it was like maybe just a couple of weeks in there for him to train against this guy. And let's put it up there. Tony has been fighting killers, okay, for the past few fights. And this guy, it's not that Tony was off his game. I think Charles Oliveira was just that good. And I mean, he was a monster that night. And, Tony wasn't ready, Even though I preach all the time that once you go in there, you're 100%. Hey, this is just one of those nights. You just have to take an L and just be good with it. No recaps needed. No retabulation of the scores. No underhanded victories. I mean, couldn't bribe the ref on that one. So
no, and it's yeah. I mean, it went into the hands of the judges, but a judge would have had to have been blind to score this any other way. It really was one of those times where it came to the realization that what makes Tony great is now getting obsolete.
I won't say that. I can't agree with that.
But here's the thing. Tony has had this unorthodox style. He's done all these different training regimens and all this kind of stuff. I think it's time now that he actually goes to a camp where there are coaches who can coach him. Remember, Tony has a camp, but it's his. He's the boss. He basically trains himself. He's got coaches, but he is the boss. I think it's time for him to at least go and experience someone else's camp. Let someone else kind of strategize for him and look at what it is that, many minds can do together instead of just having him do his thing in the ring. Maybe it's not for everybody. Maybe that's why he doesn't do it. But these last two fights, the fight with Justin Gaethje and the fight now with Charles Oliveira, have really shown that what makes Tony great isn't working anymore. It's not phasing these guys. And now these guys are going to that top 5. Tony was at number 3 in the lightweight division. Now he's going to be down to like number 5. If he has another one of these, he's going to be down at 7 or 10. And this is that Tyron Woodley fall, right? Because at first we were like, he's fighting monsters. Yeah, what do you think? But now it's like,
you're getting beat by monsters.
You're getting beat by monsters. You put on a 12-fight win streak.
Oliveira stepped up from 145 how long ago?
Wasn't he 2 or 3 fights. Previous? 2 or 3 fights ago, he stepped up to 155, and it has just been slaying folks. I think almost all of his fights have ended in a finish.
Yes.
Maybe 1 or 2. This is one of the few that went to the decision because most of them go to or get finished. And frankly, Dana White said it best. That arm bar in the first round, 10 out of 10 guys tap on that. Only Tony Ferguson, who was the 11th guy out of 10, doesn't tap.
Man.
So I got to do it. I'm going to do it because he beat my dude. He beat my dude.
I don't know, man.
Do Bronx. I'm on the hype train. I'm on the hype train for Do Bronx.
Oh my goodness.
I'm on it.
He's just pulling that hype train for everybody tonight.
Dude, I'm not done yet. I ain't even done yet. Let's keep going.
The card was too much, right, man. The card, I'll say it. If there was any card this year that people should have bought,
is this
one? If I could go back, it was this one. If I could go back to March and April and be like, people, do not buy any of these until you got to buy this card right here. It is this card that is the one that's the quint that defines 2020. And
it was one of the most underrated.
Yes. And it turned out to be Anger Beat Central. Okay. Everybody caught some anger beating. Okay. There was clevering, there was fistering, and there was elbows, knees, and forearms everywhere. All right. Everybody caught some.
That's right. That's right. And so that brings us, all of this action brings us to the main event. The main event of the evening, Davis and Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno. Like, these guys fought 3 weeks ago.
Both of them.
Well,
They fought 3 weeks ago. There was a 21-day turnaround for them to fight again. Davis and Figueiredo was in the emergency room at 2 o'clock in the morning the day before the fight.
The day of the fight, basically.
Basically the day of the fight. Because his weight cut was so hard, because it was the second weight cut to 125 in 3 weeks. This dude was in the hospital, fought through it because he didn't want to ruin the card.
Brandon Moreno has a 100% finish rate. His fights never went to decision until that night.
This dude, this was back and forth. If anyone has ever stood toe-to-toe with the God of War and walked away unscathed, Brandon Moreno did that. And guess what? I told you I wasn't done. That dude stood toe-to-toe and wasn't scared. Personally, for me, I thought he got it done. I thought Brandon Moreno won that fight. I had him winning round 2, round 3, and round 4. Round 3, Davis and Figueiredo, who had eye-poked Moreno twice previously, then kicked him in the groin, like straight teep kick to the groin.
Yeah.
Bad.
It was bad. Like I think if Moreno, I mean, he was coughing on the ground. I thought
Dry
that
heaves,
Moreno was. Yeah, I thought he was
Him that Raymond Daniels.
Ooh.
See, why you bringing up old stuff? Why you bringing up old stuff?
He gave him that Raymond Daniels.
Gave him that Raymond Daniels.
I mean, if he had started throwing up in the fight, he would have won that fight. Figueiredo would have lost that fight. They would have disqualified it.
They'd have disqualified.
And gave Moreno. Yeah, and gave Moreno the belt because it was launched.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
And so in the third round, the referee deducted a point from Figueiredo. So what ended up happening is if you were scoring the fight, you would have had it 10-9 for Figueiredo in the first round. You'd have had it 19-19 after the end of 2. Then you'd have had to have a 10-8 round, at least the way that I scored it. It would have been a 10-8 round. So now you're at, 27 to, no, hold on. What's my numbers here? 29 to 27. There you go.
Right.
Then I would have it 39 to 40, 39 to 36.
36.
And then 36 to, 38 would have been, or 46-48 in favor of Moreno would have been what I would have scored it. Something like that. 3-2, but you also have the point deduction. I would have had that for Moreno. But instead, two of the judges gave the fight to, gave the third round to Figueiredo, which made it a 9-9 round. And so then they gave the fourth round to Moreno. Fifth round, of course, went to Figueiredo because he landed a kick that possibly broke Moreno's arm. And so Moreno had to go into the fifth round with what looked like a broken arm, and he was basically just throwing with his right hand and trying to land kicks against, the God of War. And frankly,
right.
He survived. I mean, he survived. So dude, this card
it was good.
Was the best.
It was good. Yeah, I think we can hang it up for the rest of the year on that one.
Yeah,
if they said we're done throwing shows, we've already made our money, we've made our bonus, we're just gonna shut down for the rest of the year. Nobody would be mad at that statement. Seriously, nobody would be mad after watching this. Wow, there was not a suck fight the entire time.
Just a couple of things to wrap up. Junior Dos Santos, is he on the list of 60?
Yes.
Dana White said after the fight, in the post-fight press conference, of whether or not he thinks Junior Dos Santos should consider retiring, and he said, "I do." And so it's one of those things where Junior Dos Santos, he's lost 4 in a row. I don't think he comes back from this. Jacare Souza, another one. I think he's on the list of 60. He's got to be.
He's 30. Okay, so he's 37 years old. He's been there, done it. The only thing that he hasn't done was win UFC gold. He's got accolades. He can make a suit out of all the accolades that he has. He doesn't really need to do anything else.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that even though he can make a suit out of all the accolades that he has, Kevin Holland can make gator skin boots.
Wow, we're doing that, really?
Annabelle.
Jacare is. Jacare. Oh wow, there you go. There's Annabelle. There's that. Put the lotion in the basket. Yeah, I get you. I got you.
All right. Hey, let's go ahead and close the book on this one. Put it on the shelf. This card is history. Let's go into where we talk about the headlines that are making waves in the UFC world with Finding the Angles. All right, this is Finding the Angles. This is where we look at the headlines that are making waves coming out of UFC 256. This is the number one headline that I want to talk about. I want us to muse about what's going to happen coming out of this card with our headliner asking the question, who should have Fighter of the Year, Deiveson Figueiredo or hometown hero Kevin Holland? All right, this is our headliner. This is where we talk about the number one topic of the day, and that is who should be the Fighter of the Year. Personally, for me, I got to go with Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland took 5 fights in 210 days. He was perfect, and he finished it off with a highlight reel knockout of Jacare Souza. You don't get much better than that. 5 fights in 1 year.
And he had COVID.
And he might not have ever gotten into the UFC if it hadn't have been for a chance call, because Dana White didn't really like Kevin Holland because he talked too much.
Called him Big Mouth.
Yeah, and he said, and there was a fight that needed to be filled, and nobody wanted to take it, and he was like, "Well, call him Big Mouth, see if he take it." And he went in there and he beat the dude.
No, he didn't beat him.
He didn't beat.
It was Thiago Santos.
And nobody
put on a great showing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. I'm sorry, people. I've done lost my mind being on this guy's hype train.
But this is the thing. The only reason why I know that is because I'm sitting there doing the live show with George, and George is like, "Oh, this guy, you should keep your eye on him. His name's Kevin Holland. You should keep an eye on him. He's good." And I'm sitting there watching, and it's like, "Oh my gosh, this dude is standing with Thiago Santos, and he ain't going nowhere." And he's talking smack while he's doing it.
And he's talking smack.
he's taking a page out the Diaz book, and I ain't mad at you. Goodness.
So yeah. Now, there are people who believe that Deiveson Figueiredo should be Fighter of the Year. Of course, he is a champion. He's fought 4 times this year. He's 3-0 and 1 no contest. Of course, the first fight with Megan with Mr. Olivi.
Wow. Is that what we're calling him now? Mr. Olivi. Oh, wow.
One day when we're at, International Fight Weekend and Megan is there, she's going to see you and she's going to remember this.
So I'm just going to be pointing right there because everybody thinks I probably look like Ron.
I'm going to be like this right there.
Like that one right there.
I'm just thankful to be out of Joseph Benavidez's weight class. I'm just thankful, that God gifted me with a 6'3" frame and 300 pounds worth of fat. That I would be able to survive.
Ask Jacare how that worked out for him. He looked so much bigger than Kevin Holland.
Oh, well, they were in the same weight class. That's all I can say.
They may have weighed in the same, but I guarantee they didn't come in the ring with the same weight. I guarantee that.
Right, but the first fight with Joseph Benavidez was a no contest, of course, because yeah, it was a no contest because Figueiredo didn't. Was it no contest? He didn't make weight. I don't know if it was a no contest.
He couldn't win the belt. Is what it was. Yeah.
But he still won the fight, and then they came back, fought again. He so it wasn't a no contest, but he came back and of course he won the first one, came back and then submitted Benavidez for the second one, and then he beat Perez for the third one, and then he had the majority draw. That's where the one comes from. Okay, that's what I was trying to get to. So he's had a fantastic year as well. I just don't think that it's better than Kevin Holland's.
I agree. I'm not taking nothing away from Mr. Figueiredo. Even his English has gotten better. Okay, if you got Twitter, you do yourself to follow David Figueiredo. It's hilarious. Okay, because what's
Go
up?
ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Okay, but yeah, it's hilarious because he wants to learn English so he can do his own interviews and everything like that. Funniest thing ever. However, he is a monster too. All right, but Dana knew he was a monster. He liked this monster, and so he knew coming in what he was about. I give it to Kevin because Kevin was basically it wasn't a needle mover for Dana White at the time. Okay, and he made Dana White make him a needle mover, and now look at where Kevin Holland is now. He's poisoning himself. He is setting himself up for more fights, for better fights, for those ranked fights. Okay, that is worthy of fight of the year, to go from somebody that the owner of not the president of the company didn't really want to pay attention to oh my God, this guy's a murderer. Yeah, he's fighter of the year.
We're leaving a couple of people out that I think definitely deserve some recognition in this fight of the year. Izzy, for one.
Okay. I tell you why Izzy, nothing against Israel. Okay. But once again, this is somebody that Dana White already knew was gonna be good. All right. He knew Izzy was going to be good. And Izzy he's beaten everybody that he said he wanted to beat. Okay. Anybody that comes in his way, he's gonna knock it down. They thought Paulo Costa was gonna knock him down. Nah. They thought Robert Whittaker was gonna have a chance. Nah. Okay, it's quite theoretical that he made the light heavyweight champion run to the heavyweight division and try to force his hand to a higher ground. No, this is not Anakin and Obi-Wan. Anakin will not be taking the high ground this time. Okay.
So I'm gonna say this is just one of those things where I don't believe that Israel has been as active as Kevin Holland and Davidson Figueiredo. We got to see him fight twice this year. He fought Yoel Romero, and then he fought Paulo Costa, right? Mm-hmm. The Yoel Romero, everyone was mad at Izzy. I thought he did a great job, but everybody was mad at him. And then he knocked out Paulo Costa, and it's like, okay, what else have you done when you look at what these other two guys have done? He's a great fighter, great ambassador for the sport, great on the mic and all that kind of stuff. But even Kevin Holland is calling that dude out.
Yeah. He's 20-0. But okay, we'll take Izzy out. Khamzat, what's his name?
Khamzat Chimaev. So
Dana White's new protege.
Right. Khamzat Chimaev, great fighter, beat Gearshart in 16 seconds. He became the one punch man.
Had a quick turnaround too. Kind of like Figueiredo.
Had a quick turnaround.
He was the first one to do it. However,
and fighting in multiple weight classes.
Yes, he can be the one. But how many fights has he had this year?
I think three. Two or three.
Let me find out.
I think he's had three.
I think he's at three. I think he's sitting at three.
I think he's sitting at three. But guess what? He was supposed to fight on the 19th. Kevin Holland called him out. Said, "Hey, you were supposed to fight on the 19th. It didn't work out. I'm here. I'm untouched. Let's fight on 13th." Kevin Holland, every single one of these other guys that you're calling out Kevin Holland has called that dude out, and that guy has not answered.
Yeah.
Now, maybe Israel doesn't need to answer someone as low on the ranks as Kevin Holland, but Kevin Holland is coming up. He is climbing up. That dude is like the Dread Pirate Roberts climbing the rope.
And Israel did recognize him. He just like, no, it's not your time. He's like, not your time.
And it's not right now because he's the champ.
And it's not.
But at the same time, Khamzat Chimaev, Kevin Holland was like, that dude tried to treat me like the help. I want a piece of that dude. And he's chasing after that guy. You don't see Khamzat calling him out. Dude just finished Jacare Souza. Khamzat should be like, yo, I can't fight you on the 19th, but I can fight you in January. I can fight you in February. Let's do it. You ain't heard nothing from Khamzat, have you? No. It ain't Ramadan. Dude, you can talk.
Exactly. Wow. He told him you can't use the holiday curtain on this one.
No, you got no excuses, Khamzat Chimaev.
Ryan,
you want to call out folks
in
that
on
you
him
think you
like
can beat.
Conor McGregor used to go in on Khabib.
Dude, this UFC 256 has me so fired up, dude. I am just amped about this whole thing. Who else do you think might challenge Kevin Holland for this title? Fighter of the year. It's a robbery. I'll tell you what, if they give that fighter of the year to anybody other than Kevin Holland, I'm going to walk up there, take the mic and be like, I'm going to let you finish. But Kevin Holland was the best fighter of the year 2020.
They're gonna the only other person that has a chance of doing it is Figueiredo.
Yep.
He's the only one. He's the only, if it ain't those two, then something ain't right. We need to know what their metrics are.
They wagging the dog, man. I'm just saying. All right, let's go on, because guess what? The fact is that there is another promotion in the United States that was doing big things this weekend. We know them
WWE?
as Bellator.
Oh.
Bellator 254, McFarland versus Velasquez, December 10th, 2020, Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut. We're just going to talk about the main event. Of course, because there's just so much MMA, so much combat sports, it's just impossible for us to see it all. And so I want to talk about this because of the fact that Ilima McFarland, she was the flyweight champion of Bellator, women's flyweight champion of Bellator. She's like a 5-fight win streak defending her title. She got smoked by Juliana Velasquez. Unanimous decision victory. There was zero doubt who won that fight. So there is a new women's flyweight champion in Bellator. Want to send a shout out to Juliana Velasquez for making that happen, because I personally didn't think that Ilima McFarland was going to be beaten for a very, very, very long time.
Well, congratulations.
Now they need to run it back. I want to see that again. I want to see the fight. I want to see the rematch. But since we're talking about Bellator,
all right.
Yoel Romero, the Soldier of God, signs with Bellator, and he's joining the 205-pound lineup. He's going to become a light heavyweight in Bellator.
Okay, all right. So I was listening to Uncle Chill earlier today, and he brought up a good point, because he's like, he doesn't believe that Yoel and Anthony Johnson are on 3-fight contracts. He says more. It would be very pleasant if they were put on for maybe a 1-fight contract, with Anthony being at 205 and Yoel being at 205. Maybe we might see them in the ring at 205 for just one time, for just one night. How special do you think that would be?
I think it would be special. I think that a lot of people are excited about the potential of that. But at the same time, I'm going to tell you why it's a terrible fight. But also, I think it says that Yoel Romero signed a multi-fight deal with Bellator. So it's not just a 1-fight. I don't know how many fights that Anthony Rumble Johnson has, but I know that I think Yoel Romero has a multi-fight deal with Bellator. So here's the thing. Here's the reason why it's a terrible fight. There is something that happens when you go between middleweight to light heavyweight. And that is the fighters go from being about 5'10", 5'9", 5'10", to 6'1", 6'2".
6'3" even.
6'3". Israel Adesanya, he's fighting at middleweight, but he's really a light heavyweight. And so that's why he's not really worried about cutting weight or anything like that, because he's like 6'1". You start looking at someone like Yoel Romero, you get into that light heavyweight division, that's where that milestone happens, and the fighters jump up from 5'10" to over 6 feet. And when they do that, when they rehydrate, whenever they put that weight back on, they are much bigger guys. And that's why you see that jump from middleweight to light heavyweight. A lot of guys can't make it. And I think that what's going to happen is Yoel Romero, if he were to fight someone like Anthony Rumble Johnson, you're really fighting a heavyweight at that point. Because Anthony Rumble Johnson he fought Andrei Arlovski at heavyweight, so you know he can get that big. He's been powerlifting. He's got a lot of weight, and you don't have USADA looking over his shoulder.
Wow.
You are not a faithful girlfriend, boy. You just dropped dimes.
Dude, I am on fire tonight, man. I'm just saying, I don't know what it is, but tonight I am on fire. Like, I want to see that fight, but the fact is that when I saw that Anthony Rumble Johnson signed with Bellator, I was like, that dude, and he's going to 205? Or was he going to heavyweight?
That's here. No, he's going 205. He's going 205, which I think is a perfect. Yeah, he's going to be a perfect size. And just like with Yoel Romero is 6 foot tall. Okay, he comes down to 185 when he's not and missing weight. So I think 205 is actually be more of a better weight class for him. So I'm thinking this might be it. This might be the best weight for both fighters, and we may see some damage, some serious damage going on in Bellator.
I could have sworn, though. I have to go back. Let me go back to did we announce last week Rumble Johnson?
Yes, we did.
So the reason why is because
I thought they called the wrong person. Remember that? I thought he called the wrong person out.
All right, maybe it's 151. Anyway, the fact is that when Rumble Johnson, I could have sworn, because I remember posting online in a discussion group, I was like, if Anthony Rumble Johnson is going to heavyweight at Bellator, he is going to take that belt from Ryan Bader, and he's going to hold that belt for a very, 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 very long time, because there is basically no heavyweight division at Bellator.
Right.
So I don't even know why he would even go to light heavyweight.
I don't know. Maybe like I said, maybe it's for a fight or two, just to clean it out. Because I mean, if there's anybody that would be able to clean out Bellator's light heavyweight division, either one of these men could do it, and I think Anthony Rumble Johnson does it easily. Because he is once again, he is a brutal beast in the ring. Not taking anything away from Yoel Romero, because if anything, people are going to try to test him because they see that age, and they're like, "Oh, that old man don't want none of this," until he does a flying knee and knocks you straight out.
Yeah, that's the way it rolls, man. I can't find the story when we covered it, but I do know that I do know that we did cover it, and I could have sworn that we did it as a headliner, and anyway, I could have sworn he was going to heavyweight. But if it's light heavyweight, that's fine too. It's just that now you've got other people. And so one of the stories that I saw, it was an opinion piece that I believe was on MMA Junkie, where they were talking about the fact that that the Bellator, with the addition of Yoel Romero, Bellator's light heavyweight division rivals that of the UFC's light heavyweight division. So I wanted to get your idea on that. Do you think that Bellator, who now has Yoel Romero, Anthony Rumble Johnson, Corey Anderson, Ryan Bader, Phil Davis, and Vadim Nemkov, who is the champion, who basically wrecked Ryan Bader, stands up competitively against Jan Blachowicz, Glover Teixeira, Thiago Santos, Dominic Reyes, Alexander Rakic, and Yuri Prochaska.
I say they'll give him a run for the money. That
You think
Bellator
so?
now has to. I think Bellator now has the ability to give them the run for the money. Um, those the fighters, Mr. Wonderful, Phil Davis. He was a great fighter. I still couldn't understand how is it that the UFC let him go. I think it was more of a appeasement play on the part of the last guy he fought in the UFC, and you just need to go back and look, and you'll see who I'm pointing to. I think because I thought that Phil Davis had all the tools, and now he's over at Bellator and he's doing great over there. You see every one of those fighters going over there. Any fighter coming from the UFC, period, will be successful in any other promotion. It's been proven time and again. So the fact that you took successful fighters from the UFC and Anthony Johnson, you put him in a pool like Bellator, just like almost, I hate to say it and I'm going to jinx it, but almost guarantees that he will be a champion, and a lot sooner than people think.
What do you think, Coach?
I don't know, man. You've already said it. Bellator's new 205 division is UFC's old 205 division. And the new guys, the new contenders over at UFC are, what's the word I'm looking for? Or different breed than those guys. And don't get me wrong, I love Romero. I love Anthony Johnson. I love Corey Anderson, Ryan Bader even, and Phil Davis. But when you look at their fight style, there is a clear delineation of what I would call the old guard versus the new guard. And all of those guys are really under the old guard, even Phil Davis, when you look at it like that. These new guys, other than maybe Glover Teixeira over at the UFC in that division, it's all new guard guys, every last one of them. So I don't know, man. I think the 205 division in both, there are some clear lines that are drawn. And I think there are some different things happening. Don't get me wrong. 205 at Bellator is going to be very interesting. And I'm definitely going to be watching it. Because what's their champ's name? Vadim?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some work cut out for him to clear out that division. Because every guy over there is a killer. You get what I'm saying? But when I look at the UFC's 205 division right now, without John Jones in it even, those guys are hungrier. You know what I'm saying? Because all of them know, like, dude, the belt is like literally just within my grasp. So that's my thoughts on it, man.
Yeah, I agree. I really do think that the guy that I blew the hype train for this guy. I think if not, I'll do it next time he fights. Yuri Prochaska, that guy. Mm-hmm. Remember, he's the guy that the UFC wanted like 3 years ago, and he's like, no, I need to practice some more. I need to get some more ring time. Let me fight in this regional promotion, get better, and then come and fight in the UFC. Dude arrived, fought he fought Ozdemir. And just eliminated Ozdemir. I was concerned for him because he was kind of dancing around, hands down, really just kind of playful in the ring, and Ozdemir is a knockout artist, but it didn't take long for Prochaska to just bloop, and it was over. And it was like, this guy's the real deal. So I think that I agree with you, George, that there's this evolution that we see happening in the UFC, and I think that that's accelerating, which is one of the reasons why you see this exodus of these fighters from the promotion, because as these new fighters come up and they're kind of this new breed, this old style of fighting becomes obsolete, which brings me back to kind of how Tony Ferguson may be part of that old guard that's starting to change. You've got these new fighters, Charles Oliveira, you got Yuri Prochaska, you got Dominic Reyes. Like, these guys weren't household names before, and then then Reyes nearly finishes or nearly beats John Jones. Not finishes, but nearly beats John Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Based on my cards, he actually did beat John Jones. But that's that evolution happening. And so when you have fighters who are still kind of stuck in 5 years ago, Bellator's picking those guys up. It'll make for interesting fights because we know those names, but I don't know that they can I don't know that they can stand up to the new breed of UFC light heavyweights. Last one on this topic. Dana White said that Anthony Johnson actually wanted to fight in the UFC. He wanted to go back to the promotion, but they couldn't get the business terms right. And so because he couldn't get the business terms the way that Anthony Johnson wanted, he took the deal at Bellator.
Interesting.
So
no, it's not. You know what happened? He picked up that Viacom money.
That's right. Viacom MMA. Well, so like I said before, there were a lot of other fights that were taking place on this weekend. It wasn't just about UFC 256. You had Bellator, but you also had Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua fought this weekend. He knocked out Kubrat Pulev in the 9th round to retain his WBA, WBO, and IBF heavyweight titles, setting up a blockbuster 2021 fight with the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. They're talking about it. They're saying that they can get this thing done. Like, that's the worst thing about boxing, is the fact that there's a clear fight that needs to happen, but you can't get the terms right. So we go 3 years, fighter goes out of his prime, and then we see the fight, and it's not what we thought it was going to be. This is not the case.
Finally.
Deontay Wilder is somewhere right now crying in the car.
Oh, he crying. He gonna cry in the car for sure. Because what happened like 3 weeks ago, Deontay Wilder was blowing up Tyson Fury, going, after we fought, I gave you a rematch. You beat me. You're supposed to give me a rematch, and you're not giving me a rematch. You're going after Anthony Joshua. That's BS. That's all this kind of stuff. Hey, the fact is, this fight is the biggest fight in boxing heavyweight. I can't say history. Decade.
No.
Decade, for sure.
Recent memory. So use recent memory.
You have an opportunity. Why would Tyson Fury fight Deontay Wilder when he has an opportunity to fight and unify the heavyweight title? Why would that happen?
If there was a ranking system, a true ranking system, that would happen. Okay. Unfortunately, there isn't.
If you're Deontay Wilder, you want this fight to happen. You let these two guys smash each other, and then you go after the winner. And the winner's going to have all the belts.
But there's an aspect of glory that says, I want a piece of Anthony Joshua. That's what it sounds like to Deontay, that he wants to go after Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is not going to pay any attention because he has no belts. But if Deontay goes up there and smashes the Gypsy King and takes his belt, well, Anthony Joshua's got no other choice but to go through Deontay Wilder to get what he wants. That's what it sounds like to me.
I don't think it matters at the end of the day. Yeah, but if you hadn't gotten knocked out, right? Deontay Wilder got knocked out. You got knocked out. So
yeah,
you got to sit and wait now. You go fight somebody else. I
love how you repeated it 3 times.
You got knocked out.
To this day. Okay, you're not gonna
I just want to say that out of everybody on Combat Sports Talk, only one person picked Gypsy King to win that fight. You know who that was?
Who was it, Ryan?
It was me. And guess what?
Oh.
Guess what?
That's what I do.
That's what I do.
Where did he get that from? Oh my goodness. Oh.
Do you know who that voice was?
Who was it?
Who was that?
That's what I do.
That was the former
Don't say it.
president.
Don't say it. Yes, that was Barack Obama.
That was Barack Obama.
That
That sound is Barack Obama.
that was Those are the speech. I know it now.
It wasn't.
But
No,
for a second, it sounded like Denzel Washington, but yeah, then it kicked in.
it's Barack Obama. It was during the Biden campaign. He's walking out of a gym. They pass him a basketball. He shoots a left-handed three, and splashes it in like his khakis. Like Barack Obama is in a jacket and khakis. He hits a 3-pointer, left-handed 3-pointer. He walks out and he yells out, "That's what I do." I was like, that's gonna be a drop. I've been waiting. I had this drop for like 3 weeks. I just haven't had the ability to say it. Finally, Gypsy
wow.
King. I got it. That's what I do. All right. So something that Dana White said after UFC 256 that I think was very interesting. People were asking him, was like, what do you attribute this new excitement around Davidson Figueiredo and the 125-pound division? And he goes, Mick Maynard saved the flyweight division. Because basically Dana White was ready to get rid of it. We all know that they were planning on getting rid of it whenever Demetrius Johnson left and Henry Cejudo started talking about fighting at the bantamweight division. We knew that there was getting ready to be the end of the 125. Mick Maynard still believed in it. Dana White shouted him out in the post-fight press conference and said that he made some changes to the division to make it more exciting. And now today we are talking about Davidson Figueiredo. We're talking about Brandon Moreno. We're talking about a lot of these other guys. And it's like, what was the difference? And you can see Dana White. And I just want to call out because I still ain't heard my apology that I asked for. But anyway, Dana White, not wanting to call out Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, did say, he goes, well, I'm not going to go into what changes we made, but you now have fighters who are willing to go out there and fight under any circumstances. You have fighters who are willing to talk on the mic and to say things that are getting people excited. And that is a direct reference to Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, who, as much as you know, he's on my wall. He is on my wall. He when he got on the mic, he didn't want to talk too much. He didn't call anybody out. He was very intelligent on the mic. He loved to talk about just kind of, he really liked to talk about video games. He didn't really want to talk about what his strategies were and what he was going to do. And even though he's finishing fights, he just wasn't that kind of gregarious type of guy that Davidson Figueiredo is.
Mm-hmm.
A lot easier to market a guy like that. He's going to go anywhere, anytime, do anything, say anything to get that show. And Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson was a lot more quiet. And I think, and so it seemed like to me that Dana White was insinuating that was one of the major changes they made to be able to rebuild the 125-pound division into one that's got me hyped and yelling into a microphone. My levels are probably all over the place. I'm gonna end up having to do so much post processing. It's gonna be a shame. I'm gonna be up till 3:00. There you go.
Man, shout out to Mick. You saved them. You saved them all.
Shout out. Last one. Last story. There's a guy. He's on YouTube. His last name is Paul. First name Jake. He slept Nate Robinson a couple of weeks ago. He's looking for bigger and better things. He's looking for a certain left-handed Irishman.
You don't want that. He don't want that.
He don't want that smoke. But he said that he had his people reach out to Conor McGregor's people and offered $50 million for a fight and showed proof that he had the money.
How does he have $50 million? Okay, I don't care. What are you, man? YouTube ain't. No, I'm sorry. YouTube ain't reckoning like that. I'm sorry.
YouTube.
$50 million.
Between Logan Paul and Jake Paul and those KSI fights and all the money that YouTube poured into that first fight, I heard that they earned like $20 to $30 million for that stupid KSI fight. Because it was a pay-per-view and all of those YouTube followers paid money to see a YouTuber fight another YouTuber twice.
Literally, what was it? The weekend that this fight was happening, one of my clients called me up. He owns the Lion and Crown. You guys have met him before.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, I can't believe it. He said, my daughter, who's, I forget how old she's like a freshman in college or something like that. She doesn't know any fighters whatsoever. But she was walking around tending tables that night, and she looked up and she saw Jake Paul. She said, hey, Dad, that's Jake Paul. She didn't know anybody else. She didn't know Mike Tyson, but she knew who Jake Paul was.
There it is.
If that gives you any indication of how much, clout this guy has because of his YouTube.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
But there comes a point in life when you hit the brick wall, and it's one of those situations that you're going to get over it or you're going to go through it. And Conor McGregor is that brick wall to Jake Paul right now. You do not want to go through that, okay? Because
I say make the fight.
I say make the fight too.
I say make the fight too, just for the simple fact that somebody needs to shut him up.
Easy money.
He got a big chip on his shoulder, and you messing with a kickboxer, not just with a regular boxer, a kickboxer. All right, he is going to piece you up. All right, and make you think about life when it's all said and done.
That's easy money. That's easy money. That's easy money for Conor. Conor, go in there and make that $50 million. $50 million. Like,
and then
that's boxing money.
12 on. Drop a case of proper 12 in his corner when it's said and done. All right, that's all you gotta do.
Isn't the other one calling out Floyd?
Oh, it's booked. What are you talking about?
It's
calling
booked.
out? It's booked.
It's booked.
Logan Paul is fighting Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather
Logan
opened
Paul,
as a minus 5,000 favorite.
the Paul's about to get beat up. Okay, they about to get dealt with on a personal basis. There is no trainer in the world that'll get you trained up for these two. None. Okay, none. Canelo, nah. Freddie Roach, nah. You gonna do a seance for Gus D'Amato? Nah, that ain't good enough.
You better call Mick. Right. They need to get Mick. Right.
Nah, they better call Magnum 44 and just come to the ring, start shooting. You have a better chance of capping up the place. Light them up for 12 and get out of there. All right, because you ain't getting.
Jake Paul went in on Conor McGregor, calling him an Irish vagina. He also accused, mocked him for the fight that Conor got in with the older guy in the ring. He said he also called out Conor's fiance. Called her a 4. Like, he is really trying to get under Conor McGregor's skin. I don't know if he has seen the video, the bus video.
He wants that to happen
because Conor is crazy. He crazy, yo. Crazy.
If you fly 18 hours.
18 hours. 8 hours, maybe.
8 hours, 18. You flew all the way to New York to act a fool. You're not messing with the right dude, okay?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He went and wilded out after an 8-hour flight. And you want to call bad on this one. Do you understand that the Irish people have fighting in their blood? Did you not see the 7-minute, dissertation I did on boxing last week? These Irish people come out punching the doctor. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're doing speed drills on the liver and the pancreas while they're in the womb. All right, these guys are bred fighters. They will come to fight. You talking bad about his wife? You're gonna get it. Okay, you're gonna get it good. All right. That's all I got.
Conor may not have to handle his business because someone else is raising their hand, and it's none other than Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is saying, listen, before you fight Conor, why don't you take a stop off in Stockton? I got you. Nate Diaz said, you need to get your tail beat for free. He's like, you're gonna get your tail whipped for for talking like that. And so I would love to see Diaz and Jake Paul go at it. Let's do that. And then if I was Conor, I'd be like, I'm gonna tell you like this: I will fight you, Jake Paul, but you go ahead and you fight Nate Diaz first. You beat Nate Diaz, I'll see you in September, 21st night if you want.
Man, so he can remember in December.
So he can remember that whooping when he takes it.
I would love to see Diaz to go in there and get some of that. That's all I gotta say. Either Nate or Nick, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. They look, two brothers versus two brothers. You could do it. Logan Paul versus Nate. Nick Diaz versus Jake Paul. You switch them, swap them.
To make you a matchmaker, Ryan.
You know what? That's right. Make me a match. I could be the matchmaker. Just where's Sean Shelby at? I got you. All right. Speaking of making matches, we got one more segment, and that is the fight card. This is the fight card. This is where we talk about the fights that are coming up on Saturday night, and it is UFC Vegas 17, Thompson versus Neal, Saturday, December 19th, 2020, the UFC Apex Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. We have 6 fights on the card. Gentlemen, we are making flash fight picks for every single one of these fights, so get your hats on. Here we go. Alex Moreno versus Anthony Pettis. Showtime Pettis. I think if Showtime doesn't win this fight, he is going to be on the list of 60. We got Greg Hardy versus Marcin Tybura. We've got Marlon Moraes versus Rob Font. Michael Pereira versus Chaos Williams. Jose Aldo versus Marlon Vera. You've got the main event of the evening, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus hometown hero Jeff Neal. We got those 6 fights to call, so let's go ahead and do this. Here we go. Alex Moreno versus Anthony Pettis. The question just is Anthony Pettis going to win this fight and stay in the UFC, or do you think he's going to end up getting himself cut? Coach, what do you think?
I give this fight to Pettis just because I don't know Alex's pedigree.
All right. John Keys.
Man, I am going to give this to Pettis. I think Pettis is going to be hungry enough to say, nah, bro, not today.
All right. Well, it's always considered bad luck to bet on the don't come line when you're playing craps, but I'm putting my chip down. I'm going Moreno.
Wow.
All right. Okay. Next fight of the night. Greg Hardy versus Marcin Tybura. John Keys, who you got?
Greg Hardy. He's going to kill him in the first. Murder in the first.
I'm going Marcin Tybura by DQ of Greg Hardy.
Kicking the nards.
Greg Hardy has notoriously made a name for himself losing fights by not actually losing the fight. So, but no, I think Marcin's like a 7-8 fight vet in the UFC now. And he's fought more pedigreed guys. I give it to Marcin on this one.
I'm going with Greg Hardy. It's just one of those things where I haven't seen a heavyweight that's strong enough to stop that bull rush. It's kind of like Ball Bull. You're going to have to time it right, catch him in the belly, something, because if you don't, you're going to get knocked out, man.
Mm-hmm. Easily.
All right, next fight of the night, you got Marlon Moraes versus Rob Font. Coach.
I'm going with Marlon on this one.
All right. John Keys.
And I'm going with Marlon as well.
Yeah, I think we're all on Marlon Moraes. That's a good call. This is the one that I'm interested in hearing what you got. Michael Pereira versus Chaos Williams. Coach, I'm going to start with you.
It's a tough one, man. When you look at what Chaos has done so far in the UFC, I can't help but be happy for him, but he hasn't had the octagon time. And I think he's finally fighting a guy that probably will outclass him and show that. It's just that he hasn't had the octagon time yet. I think they're tossing him in here a little too quick against a guy that's a UFC vet.
All right. John Keys.
I agree with you. Chaos Williams doesn't have enough octagon time. However, Michael Piera is not going to be the guy that's going to drag him out to the deep end. I think Chaos Williams is going to get it done again.
Wait, you're picking Chaos? What?
Yes.
I have you. Okay, you tricked me there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to rearrange that, Brian.
Yeah,
I had you going there for the first half. I remember that.
Yeah. Look, I was like, oh yeah, we're all on Pereira. For me, I think Coach is right. I think that what I saw from him when he fought Diego Sanchez, he's just such a strong, dynamic, agile, quick fighter. Chaos hasn't fought but 2 minutes in the UFC. It's gonna be interesting to see whether or not he's gonna be able to keep that pace that Pereira is gonna bring. And I just think that it's going to get a little out of control as we get into the second and third rounds. We're gonna see exactly how far Chaos Williams has to go before he gets to that point where he is now that grizzled vet that kind of is used to the speed of the game. We talk about college players going to the pros and NFL. It's not that they don't have the skill. It's the fact that they just got to catch up to the speed of the game. And I think Chaos Williams, he's fought a couple of guys where he's been able to throw that touchdown pass that hit that home run. But now it's going to be time where we got some film on you. We know what you do now. Now we're going to see how well you survive adversity, and I think that I think he's going to have some drawing board work to do. So I've got Michael Pereira coming. Go ahead.
That, and we're probably going to see him get drug out into the deep end too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's going to be the make or break thing for this. How he deals with going later into a fight.
Right. All right. Jose Aldo versus Marlon Vera in the co-main event of the evening. John Keys, who you got?
I'm gonna say Jose Aldo by decision. He's still the king. He's still the king of Rio, but he ain't knocking nobody out no more.
All right, Coach.
135. I'm going with Cheeto. Give me my Cheetos.
I know he's not that old, but I think he's been in there a little too long. I'm gonna go with Coach.
Okay.
Go with Marlon Vera.
I'll say it like this. Let me be the first to say it. If Jose don't win, he's part of the 60.
No way. Think
he's part. Yes.
I love how we refer to the 60 now, kind of like in religious terms, like what is it that was supposed to be raptured? How many people?
It's 144,000, I think it is. 144,000.
That's what the 60 is. We got 60 fighters about to get raptured out of the UFC.
Yeah, they are.
Yep, he's going to be one of the 60. If he doesn't win, I can see Dana saying that it may be time for him to look for something else, and we might see, the King of Rio over in Bellator. Or go to
one because that's the right size.
If he goes to one, it will be brutal, man. I say it right now, it would be brutal.
If he goes to one, we could see him fight DJ.
Oh God.
That'd be crazy. In the main event of the evening, you got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Jeff Neal. Coach, you gonna pick against a hometown hero?
This is a tough fight to pick, man. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is the real deal, but so is Jeff. Like, I don't know, man. I'm going with Jeff on this one, but I know Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has proven himself through the years. But I think Jeff is part of that new class of fighter coming up that's getting rid of some of these old guard heads.
All right, John Keys.
Man, this is another hard one. I'll go with Jeff Neal, But in the back of my mind, it's going to take that question mark kick that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson he throws out there. You think, oh, it's not about to hit, and he hits him right on the chin and knocks him out.
Now, there is a caveat to this too. We got to think about it. And I just remembered it before you put those in, Ryan.
Yeah.
You know, Jeff Neal is coming off of almost congestive heart failure. Is I think what he referred to it as.
Ooh.
So I don't know what kind of shape he's really going to be in. You know, because I can't imagine trying to recover from congestive heart failure and then turn around and fight within 3 months of that.
Hey man, if he says I'm good and they close that door, he's good.
Yeah, we don't want him to be the first UFC casualty though, right? Like, hopefully, you know, remember that's why Dan Hardy stopped fighting is because of the whole wolf heart thing, right? It was that, you know, he was having that irregular heartbeat or whatever it was that was causing him those problems. The fighting spirit is a tough thing to deny, but we want to stay safe regardless. Y'all might be going with the hometown hero, but I'm going with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
You think Wonderboy got it?
Yeah, I think Wonderboy going to win this fight. I think it's going to be by decision. I think he's just going to outpoint him. You know, that karate stance is so hard to get around. It's just
he is just such a technical striker. He is such an accurate sniper with his punches and kicks. He has shades of Lyoto Machida. That he'll jump in there, hit you with a 2 or 3 piece combo, and before you throw it out, you just miss him by that much. Mm-hmm. That's what Jeff Neal's going to have to deal with on Saturday night. I mean, he's going to have to deal with a guy that has sniper-like strikes, and he's got movement that is smooth and silky.
And I'm glad you chose Jeff Neal.
I'm going to get y'all to. I admonish you guys to go back and watch Jeff Neal's fights.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch the one on Saturday night too.
Do that.
I'm gonna be pushing that crow. Like, part of me just wants to push that crow button.
Hey, there's nothing worse than premature crow button pushing. Okay.
I'm not gonna push it till it's over. But if I'm right about this one, you know what I'm gonna be yelling?
That's what I do.
That's right. I'll be yelling it. Follow us on social media on Instagram. I'm at Combat Sports Talk.
Whoa. We can't do that. We can't do that yet. Until we wish Mr. Onyebuchi happy birthday.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where he's disappeared with. Yeah.
That's right.
He chose not to choose to have his birthday with us.
I know, right?
But yeah, so we got you, bro. Don't worry, you got to come back.
That's
at some
right.
point.
So you know, let's wish Kelechi Casey Onyebuchi a happy birthday. One of the things that I should have put on the on the run sheet that I didn't is that this is the 1 year anniversary of Colby Covington getting his jaw broken. And so
that deserves a birthday cake.
And so, you know, it's always great that we can celebrate shutting up Colby Covington on Kelechi's birthday every year from here on out. So
that's beautiful.
Happy birthday, Kelechi. You know, we look forward to speaking to you soon.
That's beautiful, man. I almost want to cry.
Oh man. Follow us on social media on Instagram. I'm at Combat Sports Talk. John.
And I am at Keys to Victory, and that's Keys with the ES.
And Coach, show us that shirt one more time.
Dark side _ Muay Thai _ Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, come out, pick them up.
Woo.
There it is. Got that guy doing the Y crew in the back, huh?
Oh yes.
See, I'm learning my terminology. It's getting close.
We've got to talk about that off air too, fellas. We for our fans out there, also be on the lookout. These guys will be judging some fights soon.
All right. You can find us on our website at www.combatsportstalk.com, and we are on all of your favorite podcasting platforms. So look for us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Periscope, and Spotify. Anywhere. We're like Visa. Our podcast is anywhere you want to be. you can find us. I want to send a shout out to MMA Junkie, MMA Fighting, MMA Mania, Bloody Elbow, and the Intelligent Defense Discussion Group, and all the other sites providing the stories that we use on our show. Intelligent Defense Discussion Group is on Facebook. That's where a lot of the discussions we have on the show begin there. So, on behalf of John Keys and George G Money Stallworth, my name is Ryan Smith, reminding you to keep your hands up, your chin tucked, and throw bombs. We'll catch you next time.